Did you know teachers aren't humans? They're not allowed to show stress or age, have health problems, show fear, waste time, and most of all, fail. They're not even allowed to go to the bathroom. But that's okay, because we're here to talk about how we're all just playing a role. And at 3 o'clock, we get to be us again. 40 years ago, two 8-year-old boys were bored out of their minds in school, and they vowed one day they would do something about it. They did it to honor their friends. They did it to honor their classmates. They did it for the love of learning. I'm Matt, and this is Rob, and 40 years later, we get our turn, but now we're playing teacher.
Recording in progress.
All right. Welcome to Playing Teacher. I am Matt. This is Rob here with the Brookster in Center Square with her picture because she is on the road again. That's right.
Can I just say how youthful Broogie looks? Look at how youthful she looks.
Yeah. She looks happy.
What can I say, boys?
She looks like she's 10 years younger.
Want, such as calling someone, writing text messages, or playing music.
Guys, we have somebody's phone's going off during the podcast.
I wonder whose it is.
She just went mute. Something about text messages and
yeah, I don't know.
But yes, that picture does look exactly 10 years ago, and it has nothing to do with that. She told us it was 10 years old.
Oh, and remember, she said she was on a boat, and then we asked her if she knew the person.
This was that picture, yes.
Yep.
And then that guy in back of her is, who was he?
I feel like she said she didn't know the person.
No.
And we were like, then why are you on his boat?
Right. Who was that man that takes you on boat rides?
Yeah.
I don't know if the mystery
it was
really
a car. It wasn't a boat. It was a car. And there was a man walking behind the car.
Okay. Doesn't look like that, but okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you say.
I think I'm like Ponce de Leon. I found the fountain. I said I'm like Ponce de Leon. I found the fountain of youth.
Yes. You found the secret. Just take pictures 10 years ago and replace your image.
Matt, what is today's topic?
Yeah, what is it?
Today's topic is desks.
He's been waiting like 8 weeks to say this.
No.
Yes. Every week I propose desks, and this is the day for desks. Should probably explain more about that. And
are we really talking about that or no?
Yeah.
This is going to be the day we're talking about desks.
You're gonna be shocked at how deep this conversation goes.
This goes very deep. Okay. And this is not just for teachers. This is for all educators. Okay. And the symbolism behind having a desk. Okay. Now, when you're a teacher and you get assigned a classroom, one of the first things you do is you set up your room. One of the first decisions you have to make is where you're going to put this desk.
Yep.
And that's pretty much your only thing that you get to keep all of your things together. Now, sometimes you go to that room and you open the drawer and it's filled with somebody else's stuff. And I'm talking about, this could be anything. This could be papers for the last 5 years. And and basically you have all your things that you want to put away. And I'm not talking about closet space. That's a whole other podcast.
Stop.
Go ahead.
Can we please just say the things that we've found in the desks? Like, don't skip forward yet. Like, what have you found in the desks when you've opened them besides papers?
Chicken. Found chicken in the desk.
Like, how could you skip over that part?
Because I was just introducing the topic and trying to explain a little bit. But yeah, I found chicken in the desk drawer. And let
me ask you,
it was well, it was pretty much eaten down, it was eaten down to the bone, but some leftover chicken there. Yeah.
Matt, was it all right? So when you're at a desk, first of all, there's a middle drawer that you pull out that usually, typically, I guess it's designed to hold like your pens and like certain
Yeah.
things, and then there's like a top drawer on the right or the left, which is kind of like maybe, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches tall, and then at
Mhm.
least hopefully there's usually a like a deeper drawer for like files and stuff. This is a typical
Right.
teacher desk, right? Where was the chicken? Was it in the top like shallow
It
drawer?
was in the left drawer, sort of where the file cabinet would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's
Yeah.
like in a sitcom, that's
Yeah.
usually where like someone will keep their vodka, like if they're working and they want to, like it's the person's supposed to be like an alcoholic, it's like,
Mm.
and I wouldn't be surprised if there's teachers out there that have bottles of alcohol in their, in their file
So it's
sorting
like the
desk
hidden
drawer.
hit the hidden so that's like the hidden drawer. So yeah, I guess it was like hidden chicken then.
One
Yeah.
teacher, one teacher kept her cigarettes in her desk drawer, and a child found the cigarettes and the lighter and lit
Whoa.
Oh,
this thing on fire. Oh my
Wait,
God.
I'm
He
not
went
gonna
into the
say
bathroom. He
wait,
went into
I
the
will say this.
bathroom
I
and
have a
lit a
question.
bunch of
Was it
paper
George the Animal
towel.
Steel?
It
Was
was
it George?
no.
Okay. All right.
It lit a bunch of paper towels on
oh,
fire.
I
Yeah.
love
I don't
it.
remember that.
Yeah, that was very early on in my career.
All right, so that's me. I said that. Did you guys have anything that you found when you've well, Rob, you see, you always had the same space as far as you didn't jump around like me, so you didn't get new desks, so you just had yours. So I guess
My,
you
well, it's
didn't
not
find
true.
things.
My
No, oh, you
first,
did? Okay,
my
oh, when
first
we were
two,
starting out.
my
Yeah.
first, my first 2 years was at a school, and the room I was put in, someone had been in that room. People had been in that room for whatever, 50, 60 years before I got there. So that
Yeah.
desk that I got probably had stuff in it, but honestly, I don't remember. I don't think there was anything like to think of. But at the second school where we all worked together, I was the first person to be in that room. So I was the first owner of that desk
Okay.
that I got in that room. So no, it was perfectly cleaned out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I kept in there. That's what I'm like. What did you guys keep in your desks?
Well,
I don't
that's the whole
even.
thing. Once I cleaned out the chicken, I moved my things in,
What are your
and
things
then I would,
though? What things?
well, things that you use to work with. So in the desk, because then you got your closets and things like that. All right, so your basic stuff you keep, well, yeah, like Rudy said, you have the papers, kids' projects, papers and things like that in a file cabinet. But your own personal things, um, sometimes I kept extra clothes in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
like if it rained, I kept extra like shoes or slippers, things like that. Especially the longer as the years pass, I like to have things like that in
underwear.
case it rain. Though, what's that?
I said, what do you keep an underwear in your drawer? In your drawer too.
No, I don't remember keeping underwear, but I would keep socks,
Um,
extra pairs of socks. And I remember when they had me when one of the times when they switched over admin, like I lost not just the classroom, but I lost having my own space. And they had me share an office with somebody. And this lasted only about a couple of weeks because I'm doing push-ups on the floor
Wait, I think
and
is
like,
this where she said he needs room to spread out or whatever?
but
Yeah,
one of the
you
reasons
told
was
that
because
story.
yeah, I know, but I was changing my socks, you know.
Yeah, no, I know you
So
said
that
that. I think that's on
yeah,
one of the episodes.
so
yeah,
I
all right.
I I kept confiscated shit from kids.
Ah, see,
So
this is good.
like back in the day, I was in charge of doing like all of the incidents and reports. And so I had to take a hold of like things that like not like weapons, but like things that, so they would like I would have these coogies. Do you remember what coogies were? Do you guys remember these? Or skate decks or decks?
The
Remember those?
skate, the tech decks. I remember they were like
Yes,
little
tech
skateboards.
decks.
But
Yes.
Scoogies, was that the thing you turn inside out and it pops up or whatever, or is that
I
something
had
else?
no, they were like these magnetic toys. They were I probably, you know what? I'm probably still have the shit. I also had like guns, like but not like little like
Ooh, she had
water
guns.
gun, like water guns, or they had like these orange cap guns.
Yeah, yep.
Because before they became like the incident reports, like the chancellor's regs that changed at a certain point, where those things were not considered like weapons, but then all of a sudden they were,
Yeah,
right?
because they're
So there was,
not, but okay.
so I had like a letter opener in there. I had that you like pop the back off and it looked like a knife, but it was a letter opener.
Did you
Um
did you have one of those things? It looks like a switchblade, but when you press the button, a comb pops out. And
no,
Remember those?
did you ever have to confiscate one of those, or
no, like from like Greece from like 1950s.
And you
or
slick back your
or
hair.
like there's things that I kind of wish that you had in there. I'm going to name some. That's one of them. Another one is the stick of gum, where when someone pulls it out, it's like a mouse trap and it snaps your finger. Did you have that?
I remember that.
I think no, I didn't have that, but I had one of those at home that shocks people.
Yeah, the one that
And I
shocks people.
yeah,
Okay.
and I think I brought it in school to do that to you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, I'm sure that you did because I seem to remember that actually. Did you have like like those snaps, like they're little white like pieces of paper
Yes,
and you
yes.
throw them
So
down
they
and
had,
they
yep,
pop like
I
puppets?
remember
yep.
those.
I
Yep.
had those
That's still a thing.
confiscated. Yep, yep.
Did you have any and I'm sorry if this is like I don't know, not PC, but I don't know what else to call them, like finger cuffs. I was
No,
gonna say Chinese handcuffs. That's what they were
no,
like.
I knew exactly what you meant.
Yeah,
I no, I don't
no.
think so because those weren't considered weapons, right? Or like restraints. No, no, I didn't have those. No, but
Uh,
I did. Wait, are they considered? I have no idea.
you had fidget
There,
spinners or whatever in
I
there?
had a ton of fidget spinners. Like when I'm talking about, like
I kept my magic tricks there.
Yeah.
Like the ones I didn't want the kids to see, I kept them there,
Matt, did you keep
Like
your deodorant in there, like your spray in there?
oh yeah,
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 right.
deodorant, yeah. We've gone over, stinky time.
I have
But
to be
yeah,
honest, I don't remember. I have no recollection of anything. I'm sure that I kept like a stapler and maybe tape, paper clips and stuff like that. But I don't have any recollection of things that I kept in my desk. I really don't.
batteries. I went through a lot of batteries. I always had like batteries around, like ready to go. Yeah,
um,
like my go-to stuff that I needed.
What
what
did you
about
guys?
on? Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I was gonna say, what did you guys keep on top of your desk? But
That was my
go.
question.
Okay,
That was
good.
my question.
One thing that I know I kept on top of my desk was my bell. Like the little school teacher bell, because when I would ring that bell, that the kids knew to get quiet, and it was a whole gamification thing that I had going on. But so that was
Yeah.
one thing I had on the desk. Probably
Um,
some monkey things also.
Yeah, you had a lot of yeah, you had loads of monkeys. Probably the puppets were around.
Hmm.
Herbie and Chicken were either on the piano or they usually ended up on my desk ready to go, because they were part of the class, depending on where the piano was usually nearby, or, the desk. So it's kind of almost like a side studio, where I liked them together when I started using the keyboard.
Ruki
Um,
had like her computer on her desk though, because like that was like that's probably more normal now, but
yeah,
yeah,
later I started to have the desktop there. Um, and then
I never had a computer. Like I did, but I didn't really have one that I used at all during the day, if that makes sense, with the kids.
yeah.
Rob, I remember you, it was just when like the Thor, I don't know if it was like Thor Ragnarok or one of those Marvel movies had just come out and you had a Thor on your desk. Like I feel like you got it in like a Happy Meal.
Oh, that's very possible. Very
Like
possible.
like the hammer, like a Thor hammer sitting on your desk.
Oh,
Where do you
Yeah.
place it though? Where do you place the desk
that's a
if
good
you're
question.
teaching? Do you
Ooh,
want
good question.
I liked to be able to see everyone in the room, but I did not want to really be in a visual place where people are always passing me. And like, even kids just like knocking or things like that all the time where they're walking by, because you kind of want to be able to then be able to close it, especially if you have the open window where they see you, right? So you kind of want a little bit of where you could just sit down and get your work done and not have a distraction all the
Oh,
time with somebody walking by. So it was a science to figuring out the spot where you see everybody, but I also don't want everybody to want to be able to lean back and just kind of do my thing,
wait,
and just get my work done and not be distracted every 5 seconds,
Matt,
you know?
but did you
Yeah.
see, this is a difference between us and Brugge, but did you, when you had kids in the room, did you ever sit at your desk?
Yes. I this was my philosophy, especially as I got like older. I'm going to give them everything I have for the first 15, 20 minutes of this lesson, right?
Yeah.
And you got me all that time. But then I set it up in such a way where I can really just take in everything that you're doing, and I am going to sit at my desk and watch, right? And then when you need me, you come up to my desk, but
Yeah.
it's positioned in such a way where they're not invading my space and they learn boundaries basically. And if I did my job well, they know what they're doing because they're only going to be in there doing this for another 20, 25 minutes. I hate circulating, and I know that's a big part of it, but there's not enough time, or I have too many children to check in every 5 seconds. Then I miss what the other kids are doing. I like to monitor what they're doing that way and then take in the behavior and also the chemistry with their working with each other. So I would just go back to my desk then. And it's like stepping into my office where I can really then take in what's going on and then handle individual things where they just step up to me and kind of like their old secretary when they would say, step up, I'd be like, especially with the kindergarten kids, that worked out very well. So they don't keep coming over to you all the time. And it gives them the space where they know what they're doing. Once you set those boundaries, I felt that, that's the way also I pace myself. Going full throttle, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, 50 minutes, you can't
Yeah.
do it in a blast.
So,
But
yeah, but
this way worked for me. Yeah.
yeah, because I never, ever, ever, ever sat at my desk when I had kids in the
Yeah.
room. And I feel like that was just because I think like very, very early on, I was told like, no, you don't do that. Like we don't do
Why?
that.
I was told exactly the same
Yeah, we
thing,
don't do that
and I
anymore.
did. No, when I started, I circulated. I hardly never sat at my desk.
Yeah. But
Later on, when I got older and stuff, this is the way that I lasted.
yeah, no,
To
I
do it
hear you.
this
But
way.
let me finish though, because I was in the middle of
Yeah.
so yeah, so I started that way, but then I never even later when I could have done that, I never did because I think I don't want to say I was the opposite, but I was constantly circulating and talking and talking and talking. But if I did sit down for whatever reason, it wouldn't be at my desk. It would be in the rocking chair in the meeting
Yeah.
area. And I would be doing what you're describing. I'd be like
Yeah.
scanning the room. And if they needed me, they would come up to me there. But that was
Yeah.
like that was my rest spot. But
I
Broogie, I
got
have
what
a
you're saying.
question for you. When you brought kids back to your room, did you sit at your desk or did you sit at the table with them? Like, because there's something about a kid, I think, talking to a teacher who's at their desk where they feel like I mean, they're already going to feel like they're in your room. But to me, growing up, you go up to the teacher's desk and there's this feeling of anxiety a little bit. It's like, oh, So, Broogie, what did you do? Did you talk to them at your
So
desk?
yeah, so the three, so I've only had three offices in my life, and the as a I shouldn't say that. As a school counselor, I've had three offices. And to answer Matt's question first, my window, my desk was always next to the window. Even when I had my second office and the office was huge, I had my desk always by the window.
Wait, what office
Um,
is that?
that was the one that they switched me into and then switched me out because it said supervisor on the outside and I
Oh, I was
wasn't.
already gone by that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, but to answer your questions, when I was in the smaller rooms, my desk was literally right next to their table.
Yeah.
So I would roll my chair and I would sit with them at that table because
Yep.
they didn't have enough space. But when I was in the big room, I sat with them at their table. So I was always engaged with them. And I ran 30-minute sessions. So I'm always with them for 30 minutes. Now, depends on like the lesson, blah, blah, blah. Like sometimes, yes, I'm sitting at their desk while they're doing it because based on their goal, like if their goal is to
Yeah.
work independently without interruption and listening, like I have to monitor that.
Yeah. But
But
you
yeah,
at your
for the
desk
most
is
part,
like
I sit with them.
removing yourself, even though you're 2 feet away, it's removing yourself from the zone where they are working.
Yes, 100%. Yes. Yep.
Now, Matt, you said something I want to come back to,
Yeah.
and because we talked about where your desk is, where you position your desk in the room according to where the kids are and being able to monitor. But there's another aspect that you said. There's like there's a window that's on the door. So when someone's walking
Mhm.
by the room, they can see into the room. So for
Yep.
me, like positioning the desk was always let me position it somewhere where when people walk by the room and they look and they like glance into this little window, they can't see me, right?
Yep.
So like they would have to literally come in the room to know if I'm there, you know? And so, because I
Yeah.
would sit
I
at the
Right.
mean,
desk during my prep, you know what I mean?
or what I did was I would sometimes put things there. I
Yeah,
had like a lot of large things, could be like kind of like building a cave, and things like
yeah.
that, which
Like
you've
the
done in the
Foss
past with boxes,
boxes, yeah.
the Foss boxes, yeah. But it could be one or two things, but this is part of it. It's creating that studio, and I never wanted, but you mentioned anxiety, like, sitting at the desk, and I remember that as a kid too. But I tried not to create that. I almost was, it was a
Yeah.
safe space. You can come up. I felt because I had the rapport with them where they could come up and just talk to me. But here's the thing. A lot of them didn't want to because my whole thing was they don't need me at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah, of course.
And like and I felt like if I did it well, I'm giving them that time. They don't want me like watching exactly what they're doing,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
felt
yeah.
the whole time because they want that freedom then to create. So I'm not like checking in every 5 seconds because that takes them out of what they're doing.
The less
So I
they
almost
came up to you, the better job you did of telling them what you needed them to do, probably,
I think so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. You know
Um,
what's weird? Well, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
no, no, no. I wanted to dive into what we had talked about briefly that because when Matt and I were talking about desks and could this be the topic, Matt brought something up that I hadn't thought of. And it's like the caste system, you know?
Hmm.
And so Matt, I'll let you go into that because
All right. Now, what do you think about this? All right. Not everybody, if there's two teachers in the room, they don't always get both desks. There's never, I'm saying, I
right.
didn't even say that correctly. Not everybody gets a desk. Some people don't have one. So, how do they decide who's going to get it? Is that worked out with the teachers? Does it automatically just assume that one person gets one and the other person doesn't? Why don't they bring a second one up? It has to be in the building. They have to have extras. Maybe they're just trying to save space so there's enough room for the kid. So I've seen teachers where they just kind of work on a box, you know what I mean? Or just put a few things together and make a little table, almost like a snack tray, you know, and then the other teacher has this big, huge desk.
Yeah.
Maybe some people don't care, as long as you have a space where you can put your stuff down and put your coat down and things like that. But now here's where it's interesting. In pre-K also, they're told I don't know if this was how it always was, but from talking to pre-K, where you're on mute group.
Yeah,
Yeah, oh, you're welcome.
that's on purpose.
You went on mute on purpose?
Yeah. There's probably noise that she doesn't want coming through on the feed because
Oh,
she's
oh,
driving.
okay, okay. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like all the
All right,
people
so
honking at her because she's cutting them off and
I
yeah.
gotcha. All right, she's probably cursing.
Uh,
Okay, good. All right, yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot you were driving.
She takes mute off to tell us to shut up. Okay.
Um, in pre-K, right now, as far as I know, they're not allowed desks, right? So,
Really?
and I
Oh,
always found that interesting, like where they don't, but some people I've seen have them or have created their own kind of desks in the room, and then some people don't, so, but I have seen actual desks in the room for certain teachers, and then other pre-K teachers don't have it. So who decides? Is that a favor kind of thing going on? Who basically makes the decision then where some people can have it where others, and and again, becomes almost like like a class system when you're coming in. Who gets the larger space, the larger
Well,
classroom, but
like
the desk. Go ahead, Rob.
let's go with like actual examples, right? Like,
Mhm.
so okay, so in our room, like there was a desk that I always had it. Like I was the because I was there since the first day the school opened. When you came into the room, there was only one desk, but there was like a desk built in
Into the wall.
into the wall. It was actually really nice
Yeah.
because it was like a marble
We
countertop.
didn't, I don't even remember ever having a conversation with you about who gets what. Like
Yeah.
so yeah, that was because I came in and you were established, and I don't know if you said that's your spot and this is my spot. I just sat there, and it
No,
happened
I don't
almost
think there was a
you know,
need to. I mean, that was
we just
clear.
said I'm here and that's you're
Yeah, that
there,
was
and
a
then we just
desk,
made
you know.
that was it. I just made that, yeah, like my spot.
But
I was
then,
more just I didn't care really,
but
I
then
just
when
was like, oh
But then
yeah,
when you left and Neil came
yeah,
in, that became
that's
Neil's
right.
spot. And then you were displaced at a certain point, and then
I was
someone, I'm
homeless.
not going to say who, someone had brought in an antique desk. It
Yeah.
belonged to like, I don't know where they got it. Maybe it was their
It's
grandmother's desk.
me.
It's a me,
It's me.
it's
I'm not else.
Janine.
It's me.
So then, like Brugge's, like Brugge, where was that from?
That was my grandfather's desk that, oh no, yeah, he bought it for my uncle. So in like from like the 1950s.
Okay. So then we
Yeah.
took that 1950s Brugge's grandfather's desk and we put it into the end of the side room of the lab, you know, and we hung a movie screen above it, and that became your desk.
Yes.
So me, Matt, and Neil were all in that room together, which
Oh
was
my
like,
Well,
God.
it was like 30
no, but
feet long by like
We
6 feet
should have
wide.
forgot about
well, no,
that.
wait, but I didn't end up staying because then they gave me
Right.
a classroom. But you guys, you knew that I was walking around looking for a spot,
Yeah.
because they said I don't have the actual words, we don't have a spot, we don't have a place for you next year. And I was like, oh, I don't have a job. No, you don't have a job. You just don't have a place. And I don't know what that meant. I was like, so but they actually told me you can walk around the school and go find your own space.
Yeah. You
So
were,
I'm like I literally was walking around. I was opening custodian closets. I went to Brugge's room and I'm looking in her little tiny 4x4 storage room. And I said to her, "Can I stay here?" She's like, "What the hell are you talking about? What are you doing in there?" I was like, "I don't have a space." And I was like, "Can I put a desk in here?" And it's like, "No, there's no room in here. This is our papers." I was like, oh. She said I was defeated. She's like, "What's the matter?" I was like,
no,
"What do you mean no?"
I don't remember it like me saying there's no way. I think we were trying to figure out because the photocopy machine was in there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, where am I going to put the photocopy machine or the filing cabinets? But like we were trying to troubleshoot
No,
for
you were
sure.
trying to help. I didn't mean it like that. No, but
Yeah.
I think it got back to Rob and Neil at that point. You probably went to them. And then I was completely defeated because I was like, I don't know what this means, like where where am I going to work on the roof? So I walked into the room and then it was kind of like the Notebook scene when, if you watch the Notebook, have you ever see it? He made Ryan Gosling made like a special space for her to paint, for Allie
Yeah.
to paint.
In
So
in
I'm
the
walking
house.
in and I was like completely defeated in the back. You guys, you cleared it. You didn't just put the desk there. You cleared out the shelves near it. You took out all the science stuff and you made me a little corner to
Yeah.
put all my things in as well. So you guys took care of me, and made me a special little spot. It's like an elevator, a long railroad apartment. So I'm all the way on one side. So I had a spot, but then it worked out where I not only got a classroom, I ended up getting an office and a classroom somehow. So I went from having nothing to then having a spot
Everything.
with you guys, and then then for some reason they gave me, the largest room in the school, which I'm sure everybody loved that. Which
Speaking of the roof, have you guys ever been on the roof?
I don't know why. I feel like I have, but I don't remember. Maybe like
Broogie?
Maciek opened it up once. I'm not sure. I don't know. Have
Broogie?
you?
Is she there? Did she leave?
She's on mute. Let's try
I
cursing
know.
somebody out
What is
again.
going on?
Uh,
Broogie,
it's
come on.
dangerous on the road. If you're on the road, I apologize for Broogie. I feel like Broogie would be someone who's been on the roof once. I don't know why.
I've been on the roof before.
I believe that. I 100% believe you've been on the roof.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
I was taken up there by a custodian, like who was like, "Hey, let's go up to the roof," and I was like, "Yeah, let's do it,"
Was
because
it the
I've
one
never
I
been.
just said anyway? I don't know if I'm
Yes,
supposed, but you're not there anymore. Yeah.
doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know
What?
where. I don't even know
Wait,
if
what
he's
is
still a
going on with
custodian.
her? I'm asking her to unmute.
No, she's gone. The picture's gone.
No, now she's like in the house. Oh, she transitioned. She's
Oh, she's in the house. Oh, she's gonna be. We're gonna see her
transitioning.
live.
Oh, we see
Hey,
her
there's a
hand. Oh my
hand.
God. Wait. Now okay, now I have to leave immersive view. Now I got to go back into immersive view. Here we go.
All right.
Okay. Now we just see the top of her head.
Okay.
We see her hat.
Technical. Hey, there you are.
Okay,
Hi,
Broogie,
And a
have you
Rachel.
leg.
ever been on the
Is that a
roof?
leg or a mic? Is that your leg or is that a microphone?
That's her knee.
On
Oh,
the leg.
oh, it's your leg. Okay, gotcha. It looks like a microphone. So,
Matt,
All
you're
right,
sorry,
breaking
I
up.
got. I got.
what are
I
we
have to go get
talking
my
about?
charger. You guys talk for a minute.
Broogie, have you ever been on
Continue.
the roof
Yep.
of the school?
You guys talk about being on the roof.
Oh, I've never been on the roof.
Yeah, I
You were on the
have.
roof?
Yes.
For what reason?
A
Were you tricking people to to say that there was a pool on the roof?
Yeah. Well, yes, but no, I basically just I asked one of the custodians to take me up to the roof and they did. And we hung out on the roof for a little while. So,
You have
and
like an amazing view of the city.
yeah, it was pretty
Oh
nice
my
actually. And
God.
so I was and so
Yeah.
like, that custodian, well, yeah. I feel like, we're talking about desks. A custodian may or may not have had the top custodian had a desk. I remember going in there and him sitting at his desk, but other ones might not have. But I mean, like having access to
Oh,
the
it was
roof,
cool over there. Yeah.
having access to the roof is
Wait,
like
you
I
went on the roof too?
No, I'm talking about the custodian desk down there. All the way down.
yeah. Hi. Oh my God. Is that Ava?
Hey, Ava.
Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even think it was a desk. I thought it was like a table they have.
No.
Yeah,
Been
I'm
down in
saying
the basement?
like
Yes.
I'm
Oh
saying
man, they got
the chief custodian had a desk like on the first floor,
a
but
first floor. No, I'm talking about all the way down. They got
yeah,
it
yeah.
set up nice down
No,
there.
I know. That was
Oh
a
my
whole
God.
world down there. But I mean,
Oh
Yeah.
God, it's so cool. But do you remember the crazy desk in in one of the assistant principal's office that took up the whole
well,
entire
it was a
room?
table,
It was a table, not a desk. Sorry, yeah.
a conference
The
table.
the conference table,
Yeah.
It was
the
okay.
large.
You know what, Matt? I'm sorry. I'm gonna just jump in. This is an interesting thing. So they build a school. They put all the classrooms. They put all of these kind of like standard teacher style desks. Like they order like 50 of them and they put one in each room. But then like, okay, why is this? Why in the principal's office and the assistant principal's office, why do they need executive furniture that costs a fortune? Why do they need executive style wooden like it to me it's ugly, but why do they need that furniture? Who like
Basically, we have like,
this is the
you know,
class system, right? This is the class
this
system.
is no, it definitely is.
Oh, that's what
We
I wanted to
probably
say
have.
to you
Yeah.
before. I'm sorry. I was trying to say it before. Doesn't it have to do with like roster size? Because you were like, well, who gets this classroom or this
Yes.
desk? I think it also has to do with like how many kids are assigned to a class. So
No, but
yeah, I
Rob's
don't
talking about
know.
why did some, some
No.
people get
You
like
were
a
talking about
10,000
pre-K. You were
price
talking about
desk.
pre-K before. I was just,
Yeah.
yeah. All right. Sorry.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, but this is varied because when I was there, pre-K teachers had desks. I specifically remember sitting at people's desks in pre-K. You know what I mean? Like when I
Okay.
would go in or whatever. But I guess that may have changed. But what I'm thinking of, what Matt was talking about, is when there was what do they call the classes where there's two teachers? The
So, oh,
ICT.
yeah.
ICT.
ICT. When there's an ICT class and there's two teachers in there full time, sometimes there's one desk, sometimes there's two. I remember some teachers having their desks like facing each other, It's
Yeah.
like, oh, we get
You
along
gotta,
so well that we want to
you
look at
gotta
each
like
other,
each other to do that though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then there's also something called depart where you had two teachers who would move, and one of
Yes.
those teachers would move with the children back and
Right.
forth. So she would have, or he would have a desk in one room, but not the other room. And so then there were other teachers who just had carts and they
Yes.
would just bring the carts back and forth and teach from the carts,
Yeah.
like charts and stuff. Charts
But
and charts.
let's get back to why administrators have
The $10,000
executive
to
style furniture
$20,000.
in their
Yeah.
offices.
Yeah.
Because they're important. They're so important, Rob.
Who's the most important people in the school? All right, I know what the class system. No, I know what the class system is in a school where the principal is deemed to be the most important person, and it goes down, and the student is last. But let's create the new class system. Who's the most important person in the school?
The
Who
secretary.
who should that money be spent on? Who should that extra money be spent on? Who's the most important person in the school?
The most important are the children.
Yes, the
in my
freaking
opinion.
kids, right?
Yeah, of course.
So if we have money in the budget, instead of buying an executive style fucking desk that's made of like hardwood and oak and what, you know what I mean? That's like
Maybe we should make their
and
desks
conference
better.
tables and like big leather
Yeah.
chairs, like, let's
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what
like we
teachers end
all
up spending their own money on things to make the kids more, comfortable and everything. Rob, we bought our own furniture for years. I bought my own chairs for the kids, I bought my own storage space. This is just stuff we did, and they don't give us money for that. The $250 they get for Teacher's Choice doesn't even come close to the amount of extra money teachers spend on extra things. And a lot of those things are furniture, you know, just to make,
I mean,
make the kids a little bit more comfortable and make it a little bit more unique, you know?
why does
we
every
all say that it's the I mean it ever like saying or thinking or getting into education as administrator or teacher, like we all know it's the kids, right? The kids are the most important, but for whatever reason that's not
When you go to
where
other
they're
schools,
spending the money.
why
And then
does
you get
but
every
like
well, no, it's not
that.
everywhere. You go to other schools. It really depends on where you go. I've seen other schools where the furniture in the classrooms and the desks and everything look a lot better, a lot more together. So I don't know. Yeah, yes, it is depending on where you spend it, but I also think it's how, the money's probably spent as far as who's getting a certain amount for certain things. Definitely, and what you're allowed to do versus what you're
I
not
don't
allowed to
know.
do. I don't know. That's a whole other thing.
I just like, in the schools that I've been in, I've seen like where people don't have books, in their libraries. They don't have curriculum books to teach from.
yeah,
I
but we have a
started at a media
$2,000
school.
conference table.
I started at a media school in the
Yeah,
South
but like,
Bronx.
let's get it
Had
to
no
that. Right.
media.
Exactly, Rob.
It
What?
was a media school that had no media. I was teaching science, no, and when I was hired as a science teacher, it was just a book that they couldn't read. That was all we had. No materials, nothing. It was a new school that was sharing the school with another school, and they gave us basically just a book, and the kids could not read it. And that's what you think. Good luck. That's basically what they gave us. So
Should there be any room in the school that has facility? Like, okay, what's a better way to put this? Why does every administrator individually need their own entire room in the school?
So that's not the case in my new position.
Yeah, okay,
That's
so
yeah,
which is good, but
yeah.
I guess I should say, like, why would that be the case anywhere? Because that was the case where we were. I guess is a good way
Right.
to put it, right?
not just the principal, but every single
That's what
administrator.
I'm talking about.
Has
Yes.
their own office. Yeah.
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 I mean, it's uncalled for because you don't even have like, and then you say you don't have enough space to run different like clubs or different things for the kids. So you have kids sitting in the hallway with teachers, right? Like, you know what I mean? Or you have kids sitting in a freaking weird room behind the stage where like the stage hand would be to do the lighting. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't that seem a little bit weird? Like that we.
I mean,
Well, I was
yeah.
they asked me teach music, but so then I would go teach it, and I was like, oh, you can't hit the drums, you can't do this or that. So could be in a place where you can actually play music. That was always the thing. That was
I
never
never
even a thought.
understood that. Like, you should have been on a stage with your kids
Yeah, because
performing. I
the
don't know.
stage was being used, and that was being used for other things, and
Yeah.
sometimes it was storage, but there was so many different reasons, that it was a lot of times it was used, um part of the lunch period, everything like that. But I've seen other schools where they figure out a space where you can actually make that kind of noise where you didn't, I remember they moved me to that tiny room, where the year before I had no space, and they said, well, we can give you a room that's designed for 12 people, but sometimes we're going to double your classes. So I was like, wait, I was doing the math. So I'm going to have 60 people then in a room designed for 12 people. And I took it. You know what I mean? So then I remember I had the drum set up. First thing you do, couple drums, knock, 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 calls. Can you not do that now? Can you do something else? And then I would just have to, all right, we move the drum to this side. It was impossible to actually do what they wanted me to do.
Wait,
And you could, if you complain, then it's a whole war.
Matt, let me
So
ask you
basically, what
something.
do? You just make it work. You find a way.
Matt,
Yeah,
Part of the reason I started teaching the way I taught was I'm just going to do things that aren't going to aggravate everybody else, so I could just make a program that the kids will do, or I can actually get it done.
hey,
but
Matt,
doesn't that suck? Like,
100% sucked. 100% sucked. Nobody realizes how much it sucks to say, go do this, and then you can't do it. And then if you say something, it creates 10,000 other problems for
wait,
you to
Matt,
get it done. And they're not going to change it anyway because they don't care about that.
yeah,
That's
but
so low on the
Maddie,
totem
all
pole.
right,
Yeah.
sorry.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead,
Rob.
Rob.
when you're talking about playing the drums, I have a question about
Yeah.
that specifically. So I'm thinking about all the things that exist in a school that money was spent on, and that would be great to use with the kids, like drums, that wind up sitting in places and never getting used, sometimes for more than a decade, right?
Yeah.
Were these drums that you're talking about like the ones that allegedly were hidden in the basement of the school
Yeah,
that were then
I did like the Lord of the Rings journey to go down and actually see. So the story of actually how did I become the music teacher, right?
yeah.
And because I have so many years teaching music. No, I had no experience at all teaching music. I was theater, right? And the only reason I took the theater job is because I had 10 to 15 years experience doing it. So then when I was asked if I wanted to teach it, it's like this makes complete sense because I have a fountain of information to create something that was hardly used in the DOE, and then I can sort of develop and build a program that I had,
Wait,
so many years experience.
what about the drums though? I thought you were going to tell
I'm
us
going to
about
get to that. I'm going to get to
okay,
that. So
because
here's the
Barugi's got
point.
to leave in
So then
5 minutes.
all right, so then when I switched over to music, it was just because somebody came in and just said, I don't understand theater, just do music, right? So then, okay, why? Because I play the piano, then all of a sudden I'd be able to do all these other things. So where's the instruments? There are no instruments, but I think there's some downstairs. So you go downstairs. There were some drums. I took them upstairs. Then what did I have on top of that? Broken instruments that were sitting there for 15 years. So that's what was down there.
Another example of something that exists in the school
That
may
15 years it was sitting there. They ordered, nobody ever used them.
that may never have been used, even to this day. I'm not sure. I would love to know if these have ever been used. Anyone know what they are?
Yeah, they were like old violins, so
No,
all
no,
the
no, no,
strings were
no,
like,
No, he's
no,
not talking about
no.
instruments, right?
Something that
oh,
lives in the school since the day the school opened that I don't believe have ever been used one single time to this
don't talk
day.
about teachers that
Oh,
way. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Who's gonna guess what I'm talking about?
Nobody
wait.
got that.
Okay, so let me think. Let me
This thing
think.
on?
Something that cost a
Uh,
fortune, something that so much money was spent on to put into the school. I don't think they have ever been used, not one single time in the last 23 years. I could be
not
wrong though.
one
I could be
time.
wrong. Someone may have used it, but not while I was there.
Okay, Maddie,
Oh,
could you think of
I know what it
anything?
is.
Does
I
he?
What
know.
is it?
I completely know.
What is it?
It's that, what's it called? Like the art thing, the kill.
Yeah,
What's it?
a
What's
kiln.
it? The kill.
There's two
Yeah, yeah,
kilns. They got two
yeah.
kilns. I don't think they've
Nobody.
ever, I don't even think they've
No,
been plugged in ever.
No.
know
Well,
if
I had
anybody
them in my,
knows what they are.
I had it in the, I was teaching art and music together, so I had that back office a few times, so I never used it. I was like, was no one showing me, I'm not turning this thing on. I don't know what the hell's going to happen with it. So I was like, no, it's like attached to the wall and it's
Yeah.
just sitting there. People just hang their coats on it, it's just, yeah, it's like half of a
They're
room,
like two
of a back
massive. They're
room.
like fucking pizza ovens. We should have made
So
pizza in those
who
things.
ordered it then? And it's just sitting there for years and nobody used it. It's the same as
I
the instruments.
I think it was probably part of the design because that was a brand new building in what,
Oh, it
2003,
just can't. Oh, so they just brought it
right?
when
yeah.
they were.
So I
Well,
Yeah.
believe it was like part of like, hey, you have a new building. Here are instruments. Here's the kiln. Blah blah blah. Like,
Well, the
you
instruments
know.
don't come when you build the building. Yeah.
No, I know, but I think the money, like, it was like this is here you go for your new school, your brand new
Oh,
school
okay.
in Ridgewood, Queens.
no, the instruments might
Gotcha.
have come because like there were things in the science lab like there were helium tanks, right? And I used to yeah. So I used to blow up a balloon and then like I'd blow it up in front of the first graders and I'd be holding it and then I would go like this. Like and I would let it go and it would fly up and they thought I was magic. Like they think that I did magic to make the balloon float up into the air like they've never seen it, you know. And then like I remember the principal calling me down and saying, "Oh, someone I've was told that there's helium tanks in the room. Like you can't have that." I was like, "They're part of the curriculum. They were in the room when I got there. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like it was that kind of stuff that made me
So
crazy. Like, what do you fucking
stupid.
think? I bought a helium tank from outside at Party City and brought it into the school? Like it's sitting in the fucking classroom when the school opened. What are you talking
To
about?
be fair, that's not far fetched.
It's not far-fetched. I mean, I did that with dry ice and everything like that, but no, but I mean like, but ask the question first, right? It's a curriculum that that person bought. You know what I'm saying? Like, so all right. Everyone's volume has turned off. I don't know why.
Mine too.
No, okay, you're back.
Although Brew, you're a little bit. Talk, Brew. Are you low?
Yeah,
No, I'm
Bridget's,
here,
You
but I
gotta go.
gotta go.
but she's got to
All
go.
right,
So
so let's
Maddie, take
wind
us
let's
out of
wind
here.
down. So this was a good talk about desks,
Who thought
personal
this? Who
space.
thought desks would be such a good? Matt did. Matt called this a long time ago.
I
He
did.
knew it.
You're
I've
right.
been waiting, and we finally happened on episode 24, desks. So I'm gonna get us out of here. So thanks for tuning in to Playing Teacher. I'm Matt. This is Rob. Brew, tuning in from all different locations today, and now we see her live. Pleasure, everybody. Have a great day.
Okay, see
Peace.
you guys.